Asks, what were the earliest computer viruses like? How did they infect and affect computers? In about the early 70s, computers had started to be sort of connected with each other through something called the ARPANET. We didn't have the internet yet, and so you could go ahead and start spreading things that way, and there was this virus called the Creeper. It would print something out on the screen that said something like, I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can. Then they had to come up with the Reaper to go in and get rid of the Creeper program that was running on these machines. Demand 2010 asks, how did programmers code the first ever code? Early on, there was the ENIAC. And the ENIAC was sort of the first computer that we all look at by modern standards and say, yeah, to us, that looks like a general purpose computer. It looks a lot like sort of old school telephone switchboards where you're just plugging together wires and different parts of it. And that's actually how you're communicating what you want it to do. Eventually, folks figured out how to use punch cards, stiff piece of cardstock kind of a thing, and you're punching holes in it. And that was the way that we fed instructions into computers for a long time before we started storing programs in memory. So originally, the humans were just writing those ones and zeros. This was really painful. All this manual effort was really exhausting. It took months. And so this amazing thinker, Grace Hopper, developed the term compiler. Grace Hopper was this amazing early computing pioneer. She was a mathematician. She was incredible. And came up with the idea that instead of all these human people doing compilation, we should have a program on the machine that is actually going to do the compiling for us. And so that would be the compiler. And she invented this tool called A0 for putting together a bunch of different sort of portions of a program, a bunch of different sort of semi-related portions of code and getting them to talk to each other. And that was sort of the predecessor to the modern compiler. In fact, since that time, we have piled all this extra stuff on top of it. So the thing that Grace Hopper wrote in the early 50s actually no longer even looks like a compiler to us, right? It looks like one of the sort of subcomponents of a compiler because we have all this other stuff that we built up on top of it. Better, sir.